We're recording. Okay, it's time for the December issue of the Gilbert Gazette. So in keeping up with our interviews with staff here today, we got Deb Gray here. She works, well, tell us kind of about the room we're in here. It looks like a fun room. So what room are we in here?
It is fun. This is the level 3 classroom. We work with the, on the special ed spectrum, the lower functioning, the most needy
yep.
Kids.
Yeah, well, right now, you have like Kyra Harbachek in here, and who else do you have?
And Aaron Nelson.
Aaron Nelson, okay.
We have a small classroom this year.
Yep, and I see you out and about doing things with them. You're picking up my huge piles of recyclable papers and things like that. So and you've always worked with those level 3 kind of students, haven't you?
I always have, yes.
Always have.
Yep, I've been with Kyra for 14 years. 14
years. Now,
yeah.
Is she the only person you've worked with as she's come through the system, through the Gilbert schools here?
Since Kyra is part-time here for health reasons, I have worked with other students in the afternoon.
Okay.
So I've worked with several other different students.
So your primary person, the one that you were hired to work with, was Kyra.
Correct.
So,
correct.
Tell me some about your experience. I guess the question would be, what have you learned from Kyra?
Wow.
Yeah.
I have
put you on the spot,
learned,
didn't I?
Yeah, I have learned that this young lady and any children or adults with special needs have far more strength and power and abilities than anyone gives them credit for.
Can't even imagine.
You can't even imagine the things that what we would call people who don't have any problems with physical needs or just regular people, don't have any problems with physical needs or abilities or anything like that. They have a lot to do.
Yes.
But these special needs kids have so much more even that they're doing.
They have to overcome so much more just to get to a point where we can communicate with them.
Yes, physically, mentally, academically, they are doing 10 times more work than a normal student.
Yeah, and with Kyra too, with the health issues, she had a major surgery, a little over a year ago?
Yep, year and a half ago.
Yeah,
back surgery.
She came out of that in flying colors.
Yes.
And people may sit back and say, well, what are they learning here? I just, in my observations, what little contact I have with her, is I can tell that she's made progress over the years.
Yes.
And that progress is measured maybe in smaller increments, but yet I'll bet money you delight in seeing her learn things. What are some things that you've seen her as she's matured into a teenager over the years from elementary students? What are some milestones that you've seen in her accomplishments?
Communication is huge. Yep. That's a huge one. We've worked with communication since day one, kindergarten. Yep. But what's helped with that is technology.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Having an iPad where we can put a Go Talk program on with pictures that all she has to do is, even with her limited abilities to use her hands, she can still touch and talk and communicate that way. We have different buttons set up, but her communication is big, and if you don't have the technology, she still will, if she can concentrate really hard, she can pinpoint her gaze at you saying, that's my answer.
Got it. And so there's little subtleties to interpreting what her needs are that especially with you working so closely with her over the years, you understand better. But it's not something that we can't pick up on if we just step in.
If you don't know her quite as well.
Right, as well. Yeah. Well, I know this with working with Kyra, and I've seen you work with other students. You do a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
You're at one of those positions where some people look at, hi, come on in, we're just interviewing. You're one of those people that people will say, well, I don't know if I could do that job, but you're one of those people that can do that job. And I know that it takes a great deal of, I don't know what you want to call it. Some people call it patience. Some people, it's just an understanding of those people with needs and taking care of them. So 14 years here. We hope you have many more years to come. Let's talk about your family a little bit. You're a Gilbert person.
Correct.
Your whole life?
No, I come from northern Iowa.
What part of northern Iowa?
I went to school at Titonka.
Titonka
Consolidated
I was in
School.
Sway City, Iowa for a while.
Yeah, we were in the same conference.
This is going to scare you, but so that means we're like less than 6 degrees of separation, and that's probably too close. But,
very close.
But no, I know where Titonka is.
Yeah.
It's a great name. I love that name. Titonka, it's got to be
Buffalo,
an
bison.
Indian name. Yep.
Bison.
Yep. So grew up there, right?
Correct.
Graduated school there and everything?
Yes, yep.
So what brought you to the center part of the state?
Steve and I were married, and he worked in Algona, Iowa,
Yep.
for the first while, and he got a job at the DOT
Yeah.
here at Ames. And so in 1985, we moved to Ames and been here ever since.
Oh,
and
so you lived in Ames initially, and then you kind of migrated to God's country here, right?
correct. Yep. Had to when we had kids.
Did
Of
you-
course, looked for the school that we wanted for them, especially with David and his special needs.
Yes.
We wanted a school that would accommodate that was smaller, like what my husband and I grew up in, although Gilbert's still by far larger
Yeah,
than
well,
the school
no,
we were in.
Titonka and Sway City were tiny schools.
Very
compared to
tiny
Gilbert,
schools,
so-
150 K through 12. So
We had at Sway City, Iowa, when I was there, we had a K-12 building.
that's what we did too.
You went in one door as a kindergartner, came out the other as a
Correct.
senior.
Correct.
So, and those schools don't exist anymore with
Nope.
consolidation. So your small town roots is what kind of attracts you to Gilbert. You
Yes.
understood that. And
Yep.
that's kind of what brought me back there. My small town school until I was a sophomore in high school is what brought us to Gilbert. And we made the same decision too for our kids to come to Gilbert
Yes.
for those
Best
purposes.
decision we ever made.
I said the same thing. I think it's great. And then you talk about David as a special needs kids. I think you have a child there that you had special needs, which I think helps you tremendously, probably, in understanding the needs of other students with special needs and your caring nature. Just talk about your kids a little bit right now.
Renee is currently working at the North Fairway Bakery, and she is she's working there. She's developed some really good relationships with the girls in the bakery.
She graduated here. Had been
She graduated. David and Renee graduated in 2009.
Yep.
They're twins,
Yep.
and they're 24. And she's very happy. She loves baking.
And she has in a
bakes on the
band,
side.
right? Does she have a little
She has a
band
band
action
that
going
she's
on?
in. Yeah, that she's been in. It's called the Lighthouse Band, and she plays bass guitar.
Cool.
And
Cool.
she loves, and she plays for our worship team at church in the mornings, Sunday mornings.
So
plays bass
her
guitar
hobby
there.
is probably her most
Music
enjoyed.
is her thing. Music and baking. That's it. That's what
Music
she lives
and,
for.
you could go lots of places.
Oh,
music
yes.
and baking, and David's a twin brother, and I know
Mm-hmm.
David. So David was my first year. I'll tell that story in a second. We'll talk about David and Amanda a little bit.
Okay, David's high on the autism spectrum, and he's 24 also, and he's at home, and he is delightful.
Yes,
he
he
has a
is.
sense of humor like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
He works at the Open Flame on Tuesdays.
Oh, good. I didn't
and
know that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
He cleans the flume, something I never thought he would ever do. The flume above the grill.
Yeah.
Something that's greasy, grimy.
He's not really
wet.
into that. He's not a germ guy.
But he does it. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And he also helps them unload their trucks sometime that comes with supplies every Tuesday.
Yep.
And he has some other various things that he does through Story County Community Life programs.
So he's extended into it as adult life
Mm-hmm. Correct.
as a student with special needs or on the autism spectrum.
Yes.
Very communicative. I love David about that. So before we talk about Amanda, I'll throw out my David story here. My first year here, I was had the wonderful opportunity to co-teach with Curtis Martinek. I think by the end of the year, just to sum up the story shortly, I was no longer Mr. Jones. I was Tom Jones!
Yeah.
And Curtis Martinek will be forever known as Mr. Martinek for me, because that's what
Martinek,
David
that's
called
how
me.
he
Hey,
pronounced
Mr.
it.
Martinek.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I died laughing the first
David-
time he raised his hand
Yeah.
and asked Mr. Martinek a question. But David has a wonderful sense of humor. Some of his quips you post on Facebook, any recent ones come to mind?
Oh, goodness.
Put you on the spot again, didn't
Yeah, let's see. I was trying to remember the latest one. Oh, yes. We were just hanging out together. I was doing some editing
Yeah.
on photos, and David was playing video games, but he puts his MP3 player on. He loves listening to music. This hamster song came on his MP3 player. Very energetic, very fun sounding. So I got up and I started doing some exercises to it. I said, David, this is fun. We could do exercises to this. And he goes, it looks like you're dancing. And I said, no, I'm exercising. And he was laughing at me. And I go, why are you laughing? I said, I've never seen you dance before. David, I'm exercising. And then he just hollers out really loud, "Shake what your mama gave you."
That is David.
So, needless to say, I don't know if I'll exercise in front of
Not in
him
front
again.
of him again ever. And then you have Amanda. Sorry,
correct.
we'll transition to her there, but the great story about David. Amanda, who also has a sense of humor too.
Yes,
I love
she
her
does.
sense of humor.
Yes.
She played soccer for me. I was a coach here for 3 of her 4 years, I believe. Tremendous young lady, tremendous goalie, tremendous person. But she's, doing something, incredibly easy in college now, like studying Chinese or something.
Yeah.
So where's she at in that process?
She's a senior at Iowa State, and she's majoring in linguistics, minoring in Chinese and ESL.
Gosh.
So, yeah,
She will be in demand after she gets done. Just when will she get done?
That's a good question. She is
It's
on
a lot of
target
work.
for the spring
Oh,
to
cool.
graduate. As of now, she's going to have 18 credits this next semester to finish it off.
Ugh.
She was in Japan over the last summer on a missions trip. She loved it. Never
Yeah.
got homesick. She was there for 6 weeks.
Back. She never got homesick. You're like, wait a minute, you didn't miss me at all? Huh?
Yes. Did you miss us? Okay.
A little
Yeah,
bit, sure.
no. But she works with internationals through our church. She works with internationals through Iowa State. She works a lot she just loves it. She loves working with the internationals, and she is helping. She has some projects with English as a second language. She is currently looking into teaching abroad.
Good.
Right now,
Do it while
she's
you're
got
young.
many opportunities to do it. She's looking at Shanghai and Japan,
Gosh.
possibly right now.
She will love it. She will
yeah.
love it. Do it while you're young, because you'll
Yeah.
never, when you get older and other things creep into your
Yes.
life,
Yeah.
you tend to lose those opportunities. And your husband, is he still working? I know
He's still
had
at the
had a few
DOT.
recent health issues, but he's overcome those and things are
He's-
looking good?
He's trying to get over a bout of pneumonia, and he's still got a lot of complications coming from that because of his autoimmune disease.
Yep.
So that's always going to be an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
So, but he's back to work, and he loves the DOT. He's been there for I believe it'll be 35 years in April.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. We're going to finish here with Deb's
30 years. correct.
30 years with Deb's other job. And
other
you
job.
do quite a bit of photography for the school.
Yes, I do.
And it's freelance, and I will emphasize free because you've never charged me for a picture. I don't know if you charge anybody for the pictures you take, but she's at all the sporting or other events and taking pictures. And the great thing about it, she posts them on Facebook and she makes them available. You took a picture of me and my daughter once.
Oh, yes, this is my favorite.
This is perhaps one of my favorite pictures of all time, and Deb does such a great job, and she does so much to help people remember what high school is about in their participation in events and any type of activities. Tell the story of the picture there.
This was our final game playing Nevada. It was to
dreaded
decide
Nevada.
who was to go to state. It was a heartbreaking game. Our girls played their hearts out.
I was so proud of them.
Oh, yeah.
I was never a moment sad that we didn't win, except that it meant we couldn't spend more time together.
Yeah,
But their effort was monumental.
the effort was incredible. I was just so proud of these girls.
Yeah.
They were just incredible and played their heart outs. They played very well.
Yes.
And it was
Against
just a
a team that was
heartbreaker.
ranked probably 4th in the state at the time,
Correct.
and we were unranked.
And we
it
came
was-
up to play them for the deciding game for state,
Yep.
and they beat us. And of course, the girls, everybody devastated. And Peyton was on the ground, crying, just trying to hold it together. And then you come up, you help her up off the ground, and you're talking to her, and I'm like, father, daughter, coach, player, and you're walking to the other side to thank the parents, and it was just you comforting her comforting you, and it was just a perfect thing.
What you did here with this picture, I think, and I'll show it one more time, and this is probably your talent, that what you see through the camera comes out on the film, is that you captured a moment that could mean so many things, but you provided a memory.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important, and I think that's what you do too, is you being a Gilbert person from start to finish with your kids going through here, is you understand this community and you understand what it means to be a Gilbert person. So in that regard, you have our vision in your heart and soul. So
I enjoy it a lot.
I can tell. I appreciate your time this morning, Deb. We are
Okay.
done. I got to give you a hug.
Thank you. Thank
All right,
you.
thanks.